Is this the job of the future? Is the job that don't existed some years ago and now is reshaping how global companies operate, innovate, and compete? How we work, how we live, how we learn. I'm talking about Chief AI Officer. And today I have the privilege of talking with one of the most respected CAIOs in the world. I'm Miguel Fernandez, your favorite Chief AI Officer. And this is another powerful conversation about how AI is transforming our world. We are here at London Tech Week 2025, where AI is not only the hottest topic, but also is the core of every conversation about tech and business discussion. And here with me now, I have Philippe Rambach, Senior Vice President and Chief AI Officer of Schneider Electric, a global leader in sustainability and energy innovation. Philippe has more than 20 years of experience across energy, automation, and digital transformation. He is responsible for scaling AI not just inside Schneider Electric, but also across its entire ecosystem of customers, buildings, plants, data centers, and infrastructure. So, Philippe, welcome. It's an honor to have you here with us.
Yeah. Thank you very much to invite me.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning, from the top. What is CAIO? What is a Chief AI Officer? And how this role is different, for example, from CTO or CDO?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would say that my role as Chief AI Officer in Schneider has several aspects. The first one is really to make sure that we find ways to embed AI, as you were saying, into things. The way we work internally, the way we serve our customers, how can we leverage AI to make the customer experience better, to make our employee daily work easier, remove tedious tasks, painful tasks, but also, and at least equally important for me, to make sure that we leverage AI to continue to increase our value proposition to our customers. As you were saying, our mission in Schneider is to help our customers to be more sustainable, and we help them to be more sustainable by being more efficient. Yeah. Using less energy for the same outcome, using energy in a better way, having smarter industrial automation. We've been doing that for years, but with AI now, we can do that even better, faster, with more impact.
And how this role appeared in Schneider? It was new? You created? How was the process of becoming a Chief AI Officer?
Yeah. I've sometimes joked that, for sure, I was the first Chief AI Officer of Schneider, and if I'm successful, there may be a second one.
Yeah.
Will I be the last? It's a good question. So how did that came? So actually it came quite early compared to many other companies because our board and our ExCom made that decision mid-2021. So quite a long time before the coming of Gen AI.
Yeah.
And
it was before ChatGPT boom.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It was not even, maybe it was in the making, but nobody. Yeah. And the decision came from the fact that there were a few things that came at the same time to us. The first one was realizing that AI was really a powerful tool to continue to help our customers to be always more sustainable and also to be internally efficient. And why did that came? That came for a few reasons. The first one is probably valid for everybody. You know the story, much more compute, much more data, cloud development, so technically AI became more feasible. But the second reason is it's on one side a revolution, but I prefer to say it's a natural evolution. A natural evolution on two things. If I look at what we were doing internally, we've been trying to help our employees to digitize our customer relationship, digitize the way we manufacture, we kind of drink our own champagne. So when we help our customers digitize, we first start by digitizing ourselves. So having done all of that, the natural next step, digitizing, organizing data internally, was to put AI on top of it to get all the value out of it. Because let's face it, and that's true for us, but for many of our customers, we spent a lot of money and time organizing data, getting in the cloud, and sometimes the question of the return of all this investment is on the table of the board. And what I truly believe is that AI is actually unlocking the value.
So totally agree. Yeah.
One side was internally, big side was externally. So we have an offer that we call EcoStructure, but which is an offer that since years we have been developing with our customers in homes, buildings, factories, data centers, electrical grids, and I probably forget some of them, where we help them collect that data using our offer. We help them automatize their process. We also help them with software, SCADAs. You may know brands like Wonderware, which is a kind of brand. And the next natural step that we're helping them collecting to understand, having SCADAs to visualize, operate. Then we also moved into the storing of the data with companies like OSI Soft, which is also another company. The natural next step was to say, hey, now that we have done all of that, we can all unlock so much more value by adding some AI into this offer, into this value prop of the customer.
Yeah, interesting. What is the relation that the chief AI officer have with the CTO and the CDO? Because I totally agree. We were in the last years like collecting data from everywhere, but now we can have the return of investment of this collection. So you work close with the CTO, with the CDO. How is this?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's super important because AI alone cannot do anything.
Yeah.
As you said, you need, of course, the data, but you also need the business interactions. You need to understand what are the processes that internally you need to improve, and you need to understand your customer pain points where AI can truly bring value to avoid to start from technology for the sake of technology, but really start from a business value. So how does that translate into the organization in Schneider, into where I report and so on? We have in Schneider, if I make it very simple, BUs that mostly do the offer and manage the whole business, factories that manufacture, countries that sell, and a big chief data officer who actually owns the traditional IT, who also owns the software platforms on which all our businesses build our specific softwares, who also owns the data. So naturally, when we were discussing where is it best to put this position, it had to be transversal to the company. So you cannot be in one BU, you cannot be in one function. So naturally, it went into this chief digital officer organization. And that works pretty well because then I'm very close to the data person, very close to the IT person, very close to the people building our core software. And that big chief digital officer organization works pretty well for us.
Yeah, I have this question a lot. How is the structure? So how can you start an AI team in your company? What is your recommendation? If you are starting now, where's the place to start?
It's a very good question. And the first thing I would say, it is really depending on the company.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is one magic recipe for all.
Yeah, I agree.
I receive from time to time, as you can imagine, some call from companies saying, hey, would you be our chief AI officer? And I said, I know nothing of your business. Take somebody who understands your business.
Yeah.
So with that introduction being made, when we started AI in Schneider, there was almost nothing. And the key point, my key obsession was doing AI at scale, doing AI that impacts, doing AI that truly brings value. Because when I started to go around, I quickly realized that a lot of companies were stuck, and I think are still stuck in doing proof of concepts, pilots, MVPs, especially with Gen AI, where it is so easy to make a proof of concept, so difficult to bring it to production.
Exactly.
So with this obsession in mind, we decided a few things. We said first we need a very strong central team because we need knowledge, we need talents, we need career paths, we need to be able to attract, train, organize, and so on. So we built a strong core technical AI team. Then we said if we want to be at scale, we also need a technical platform because we need to avoid to have everybody using thousands of different tools that are coming every day. We are a large company, we need some efficiency, so we have a technical platform where basically we take the data with an API, we run them under the platform, we send the information back through an API. And the third key point, which was the most important, was the organizational way. So the key challenge we had was how can we merge the technical knowledge, the data science knowledge of the people we hired, with the business knowledge, the technical knowledge of the rest of the company. Ideally, we would have hired people having both knowledge. It's impossible. People knowing AI most of the time just comes out of university. So we decided to use the full extent of Agile. We start from a business case, the business value, and then we create a squad, actually a scrum, for the people specialized in Agile, where I bring the AI people, and the business brings all the rest. Business knowledge, product ownership, technical deployment, customer training, everything which is needed to be successful. And that scrum, or that squad, is in charge of developing the solution from the ideation gate till the production. We don't want, I think something which is super important to have in mind for our listeners is if you split the MVP, the POC too much from the production, you will a lot of MVPs and never go in production.
Exactly.
So the same team goes from the start to the end, and using the beauty of Agile, we bring what we need in the squad. And then the squad delivers.
So the way that we develop is the same. So Scrum, Agile, but the technology changes, so we can do it even faster. And you wrote an article about the skills that a chief AI officer should have. It was really good because it matched the skills that we teach in our MBA in Exame. But I think it's important topic. So what is the main skills that the chief AI officer should have?
I will tell you first a small story. I'm not sure if I should, but I will. So I received a call from my CEO, Jean-Pascal Pécoire, mid-2021, saying to me, hey, you know, Philippe, you're doing good in your job. At that time, I was in charge of all the sales of one of our BU, few billion euros, nice business. And he started first by saying, you know, Philippe, you didn't fail. Jean-Pascal, I'm not sure I like this conversation, but I want to take you something where there is nothing.
Yeah.
I want you to grow and develop AI in Schneider.
It came from the CEO.
Directly.
Oh, good. Yeah.
We have a good one.
Yeah.
I can tell you. 2021, this decision, he has the understanding of the trends.
Vision, yeah.
Kind of. And I told him, Jean-Pascal, why are you calling me? I think you're calling the wrong Philippe. I don't really know AI. I don't even really know software. And he told me, you know, Philippe, I thought about it and I need this skill. And I think what he said is true for any company. I need somebody who understands deeply our business so that we do AI that impacts. I don't want somebody who come with, oh, there is a new tool, we need to try it. Second, I need somebody who will find an organization that fits with our company. Our company is large, 150,000 employees, several lines of products. How do we find a way, an organization? And to do that, you need to understand the company also. And third, of course, I would have loved that you know AI. But you know what, Philippe, it's end of July. I'm sure you take your usual 3 weeks of holidays in August. So you have time to learn. And actually, if I come back after this small story on the skills, what you need from me is you need business understanding, again, to choose the right use cases. You need company understanding, and you still need a strong mathematical knowledge because you need to be able to understand enough to go beyond the smokes and mirrors, beyond what our friends, hyperscalers are saying everywhere, which is true, but sometimes a bit better than the reality. So you need an appetite to learn. It's changing every day.
Antes da gente continuar o vídeo, eu quero interromper aqui um pouquinho para te apresentar uma ferramenta que eu tenho certeza que você vai curtir. Você sabia que existem duas internets? Aquela que você enxerga e a que some quando você viaja ou quando o seu IP não merece ver certas coisas. Eu vivo com a mala na mão e sinto isso na pele. Meu feed troca de cara, séries somem do catálogo e ferramentas de trabalho me bloqueiam. É frustrante perder acesso a conteúdo que era meu direito. Para não ficar refém do CEP, eu decidi usar o Gologin. Ele cria perfis isolados com impressões digitais diferentes, troca de país em segundos e engana qualquer bloqueio de localização. E o resultado? Eu assisto catálogo estrangeiro, resgato aquelas newsletters gringas cheias de dica boa e entro nas contas do cliente sem levar ban. Tudo isso sem rastro de cookies ou anúncios me perseguindo e ainda ganho 2 GB de proxies residenciais rápidos e seguros. Se você também sente que a internet encolhe quando cruza a fronteira, te aconselho a experimentar. O link está na descrição.
Yeah, you were talking also about the flexibility. So the flexibility to learn, because AI is changing like every day. So you need to keep learning. It's not the learning that you had on the past that you probably change.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's super important in this job to have a willingness to learn because you can become obsolete in one day almost. And if you don't continuously train and learn and update, then your value goes very quickly to zero. So yes, the appetite for learning is extremely important. The beauty for me of AI is when I compare to other technology I've been working with, AI is new. So it's still in its infancy. So actually you can still learn and follow.
Yeah, exactly.
If I take other technologies that I've been using in the past, they were like 40 years old. They had reached a level of maturity that to catch up 40 years of development is impossible.
Yes, I agree.
AI is still new. I don't say I'm an expert in AI, I'm not able to build an LLM, but you can understand the fundamentals.
Yeah, and it's a big opportunity to become a pioneer.
Yes.
Because we are like in the beginning. Some people compare AI to the moment of AI with the moment of the beginning of the internet.
Yes.
So we are creating the history of AI.
100%.
Another criticism that we received a lot, not we, but the AI specialists, is the return of investment. So there's a lot of AI, everybody's talking about AI, but there's no returns. And what I usually say is companies don't have someone that is looking to their returns and giving visibility. So another important of having the chief AI officer, like looking what is happening and like getting the catalog of results. So what was the main projects with AI that you did and what is the return that you are having right now?
So a few things I would say on the return. The first thing, if you want to have return, you need to start with business value.
Yes.
If you start from
and measure,
I have seen a new LLM, I will use it, the likelihood to get a return is very, very low. The second thing, and I'm again stating the obvious, you have to go in production. An MVP, a POC, a pilot never brought any value to any company.
Yes.
If you have the two, you have a good chance to bring value to the company. Then it's always difficult to measure the ROI. Always difficult, like for any IT projects.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm joking with friends saying, people will ask what is the ROI of AI. I say them, ask your CFO what is the ROI on the Salesforce implementation,
Yes.
the ERP implementation.
Yeah.
Not easy to prove. We know there is value.
Yeah.
You were mentioning the internet. What was the ROI of giving email to everybody?
Yeah.
There is value. So important to focus on business value in production. Important to focus on, is it used? Is it performing? And then measuring the ROI as good as you can, knowing it's never super easy. The best use case for us, for example, is a few things. One which I love, which is not Gen AI. Maybe I will mention this one. We have in Schneider maybe, 10,000 field service engineers that goes every day to serve our customer base. So every day we plan the day. So far, and you will joke, but until we had this AI organization, it was done by people looking at customer needs, the skills, location, geographies, all of that. We use the AI to optimize and match. We now serve 13% more customers with the same amount of people. Another example using Gen AI this time, because we have to speak about Gen AI, customer care centers. We have built for them a tool that takes the customer question, automatically propose an answer, gives a source of information, because as you know, Gen AI is never 100% sure. Yeah. So we tell the operator where the AI has taken the knowledge so that he can check. He checks, because again, Gen AI is not 100% bulletproof, so he checks, and then he sends the answer, but saving 20 to 30% of his time. So that's for the internal side. And I need to mention one externally, because there is one we have released recently, which is so simple but so beautiful. Most of the rooms in the world, including the one where we are, have a room controller to control the room temperature. Mm-hmm. Consume heating and cooling building is maybe 20% of the energy worldwide. It's gigantic. We have built an AI model in the tool that is able to learn the thermal behavior of the room, and using that optimize how you heat and cool. And with just replacing your normal room controller with the AI one, you save 15% energy and you bring more comfort. So AI is also critical for me in saving energy, and the solutions we have, or the world has, can save 15 up to sometimes 30% of the energy in heating, cooling, building, manufacturing. It's huge. It's gigantic.
Another common question that I received: what tools do you use? Like everybody uses ChatGPT, or how do you manage the vendors that you hire to give people access to AI?
So there are many different things. I would say first, most of the software now comes with AI in it.
Yes. Yeah.
On that, for me, the role of the chief AI officer is minimum. We need to make sure that they comply without responsible AI. Mm-hmm. We need to make sure they comply with cyber, etc. Yeah. But if it does the job, I don't need to look into the model. Mm-hmm. Great, it does the job, please use it.
Yeah.
Then you've got the tool that you give to your employees, all of them. So when ChatGPT came out, we had, like everybody, the dilemma between, do we give it to everybody? What is the risk of data leakage? So at that time, we made the decision to create our own. It was, we called it Joe ChatGPT, because we all our bots, we called them Joe something, because Schneider was created by Joe Schneider. So, but this was on a local, so make sure that we have no data leakage. Mm-hmm. But we made the decision we're talking about changing. We decided 4 months ago to sunset down this one, to move to Microsoft Copilot, because we use them a lot, because now they guarantee no leakage. Mm-hmm. So it's also a world where the tools are changing very often, but it's very important to give to your employees the tools, because by using those tools, they will understand what it does, they will understand what it does not, they will get familiar with it, in addition, of course, of getting a lot of productivity. Yeah. So, yeah.
One important role that I have as a chief AI officer is an educator in the company. So, and sometimes I think that I'm teaching not only about AI, but about critical thinking, about communication, because it's like you have to communicate with the machine and you have to criticize what the AI is giving to you, because it's not true. It's just a beautiful information. You have this also.
Yes, it's super important. I thank you for the question, because I should have mentioned it, but the education part is the most important of all. And we made a few decisions in Schneider. For example, we decided to give to all our employees access to Coursera. Mm-hmm. We decided that this platform is the one we want to learn. We also organize trainings on prompting, make sure people understand. We do prompt patterns for people to learn. So the education is super important. One part is giving access to a tool for people to learn. Another one is this prompt daton and all this prompting engineering. We also organize a training pass where if you say, okay, nothing today, I want to know that tomorrow, this is my training pass. We do training pass actually by category of employees. We cut Schneider in four, all employees, people in charge of really defining what we do with AI, product owner in the line of businesses, transformation owners in the functions. Then we have another category, which is the AI specialist, and then the senior leadership. And we have created training paths for each of them. And we went to a point that, probably you know that, but in many large companies, we have this, what we call essential trainings, which is trainings which people have to do mandatory, very clearly monitored. Usually, it's about compliance, sexual harassment, all of that. This year, we decided that AI was so important that each and every single Schneider employee will go through an AI training through this organization, which makes sure that everybody does it. You're forced to do it. It is checked. It is controlled. It is all of that. It's so important that now we place understanding AI at the same level, at least in the training, as being compliant with regulation, with GPRD and so on. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because if you don't do that, some people, when I joke about it, some people are still saying, they talk to me about blockchain, metaverse. If I wait a bit, I can avoid the AI one. And then the other guys will come to me sometime saying, Philippe, I've got this problem which I've been trying to solve since 70 years. I have zero information about it, but if you put an agent on it, it's going to be solved, no? I don't think so. So we need to educate people to understand what it does, what it does not, what are the limitations.
Exactly.
That's extremely important.
Exactly. And the last question is futuristic. So what will happen? What will be the future of chief AI officers and the new jobs that will appear? What is your view about it?
Difficult to say. I think one of the things that will change more and more is, if I look at it, we started by creating a very strong central team. We'll need to diffuse it more and more in the organization. So the role of chief officer will be more and more and more to make sure the whole company goes into AI. Make sure that we do that in a responsible way, in a safe way. It's extremely important. And then long term, the question I always have is, do we need a chief AI officer for the future? My point of view would be, it really depends on the speed of evolution. If the speed of evolution is slowing down, then it will become another software technology that a lot of people will understand. And you may not need a chief AI officer. If it continues to change as fast as of today, if you don't have a centralized team focused on learning, bringing, dispatching, educating, you will not keep up with the pace. So for me, the future of the role is very strongly linked with the future of the evolution of the tech itself.
Yeah, and every job will be affected.
Yes.
So everybody needs to learn AI. That if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, if you're a financial analyst, it's changing every job. I don't know if we will have a centralized AI in our companies or like this, because we don't have an internet specialist, so it's but some companies will have because it's important and some companies don't.
I think it also depends on your company.
Exactly.
When I was explaining this organization to a French agricultural company, the guy told me, Philippe, I love your organization, but I don't even have software people. I almost have no IT, it's all outsourced. Can I build an AI team? Maybe it's better to buy it from someone, So we started in Schneider with a lot of software knowledge, data knowledge. So it was easier to build on top. So I think your question also needs to be answered company by company.
Yeah, I said that was the last question, but I have another one that just came to my mind. You are from France, live in France, and we are here in UK right now. And we have this war between US and China, and Europe in the middle, creating the laws, and in Brazil is experimentation, maybe India providing the talent. How is your view about this war?
I would not qualify of war. What I would say is...
I'm being clickbait saying the war.
I would say that first we need regulation.
Yeah.
If you look at the history of humanity, you always need regulation. When humanity invented cars, very quickly we invented traffic light.
Exactly.
Because too many people are dying.
Yeah.
But we need to regulate by the use case, not by the technology. Which means we need to forbid stuff.
That just came to my mind. You are from France, live in France, and we are here in UK right now. And we have this war between US and China, and Europe in the middle, creating the laws, and in Brazil is experimentation, maybe India providing the talent. How is your view about this war?
I wouldn't qualify of war. What I would say is,
Yeah, I'm bringing like clickbait saying the war. Yeah,
I would say that first we need regulation.
yeah.
You know, if you look at
I
the history
agree.
of humanity, you always need regulation. You know, when humanity invented cars, very quickly we invented traffic light.
Exactly.
Because too many people were dying.
Yeah.
But we need to regulate by the use case, not by the technology. Which means we need to forbid
agree.
stuff which are bad for our society. Not forbid the technology. With Gen AI, you can both learn to build a nuclear weapon and help a customer care center.
Exactly.
One is bad, one is more than okay. So regulation should be on use case, risk, not tech.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
first
like
thing.
the AI Act in Europe are
Exactly
being,
right.
yeah.
It's going the right direction.
Yeah,
It's
good.
going the right direction. And the second thing for me, if I look at Europe more
Yeah.
precisely, is when you look at the AI landscape, you have the chips, you have the data centers, you have the big models, then you have what we work on, which is all the application that use that.
Yeah.
And Europe, Brazil have a unique opportunity because we have companies
Yeah.
who know their business extremely well. In Europe, we have most of the energy leaders, a lot of the waste leaders, of the water leaders, of the OEM leaders. And those people, they can really build the application AI that will truly bring value. I mean, I think a model has no value in itself. I think
Exactly.
what has a
Yeah,
value is what do
commodity.
you solve?
Yeah.
And here Europe has a massive role to play because we have this business knowledge. We have a lot of AI capacity, lots of AI specialists. If we are able to merge the two at scale, we can be the leader of application, AI-based application.
We have some students that are like joining the AI right now. So what is your advice for someone that is like starting with AI? Okay, I know that I need to learn AI. So what is your advice for people that want to become the chief AI officer, the leader of AI in their companies?
So for me, the best trainer on AI, the guy who can simplify everything and make it understandable, you probably know him. The guy is called Andrew Nguyen.
Oh yeah.
If you want to understand AI from scratch, he's the guy who is the best.
Yeah, he's good.
I
He's
spent
on YouTube, yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah.
Coursera.
Yeah.
I spent hundreds of hours virtually with him, and he's the best trainer. So, but more than so, that guy is great, I think. But beyond that, learn.
Thank you a lot, Philippe.
Thank
It was
you.
a nice conversation. If you like this conversation, don't forget to like the video and follow me here. And if you want to learn more about AI, I will put the link below so you can take our course or the MBA to become the next AI pioneer. Okay, see you next video. Bye-bye.